All right, so we have a question this week. The question is, what happened to the people between the flood and Abraham during that span of time? Did all those people just go to hell, or do some of them go to heaven, or they all go to heaven? What happened to those people? I think the short answer to that is we know that in Abraham's family, that one of the children is a child of the promised line that ultimately leads to Abraham. Terah, Abraham's dad, and then Abraham, Lot, they all come from Terah. And so we know there's a promised lineage in there. In addition to that, we know that God throughout time spoke to people, revealed himself to them, especially in that period of time. We have the account of Job, and Job is considered a very old historical figure, and based on the type of literature and the names of the peoples and all these kinds of things, that Job may have dated even from the time or before the time of Abraham. We also know that throughout the time, even before Noah, that God was revealing himself to people. There's no implication that he stopped working in those ways or revealing himself to people in those ways. So though we don't know the specific of individuals other than the lineage, the names of the lineage from Noah down to Terah, we don't know if some of those are believers, all of them are believers, or none of them are believers. But I do feel fairly confident in saying that God had been speaking to people from the time of Adam and Eve. He'd been speaking to people from the time of Abel and then Seth, where the lineage, the positive lineage, the genealogy comes through Seth. And so we know that God has a habit of doing that. We have a historical record of that prior to the Noahic flood. And so after the flood of Noah, it goes very quickly to the Tower of Babel, and things disintegrate fairly quickly morally and those kinds of things. But I think even with that, there's always this remnant idea that even in Israel, but really I think throughout time, there's this picture of God preserving a remnant of people where his promise is provided for us. And in fact, many people believe that Moses got some of the information from the Genesis account was through that lineage of faithful people who are handing that down, these patriarchs like Enoch, down through Noah, down through Terah and Abraham, that kind of thing, that maybe there was even a sharing of these divine stories by God. And so I think we can say that probably there was some believers in there, and that God was using his way of direct revelation to bring them to saving faith. So that was a really good question. And so that's our question for this week. We'll see you guys on Sunday.